I'm going to show you how to get leads at a much lower cost, the kind that feel like referrals. This method I'm about to show you is producing results I honestly didn't think were possible. I've never seen numbers like this in all my 23 years in digital marketing. First, we're going to talk about what attracts tire kickers and price shoppers and what makes a referral lead so good. Then, I'll walk you through what your marketing needs in order to generate leads that feel like referrals, whether they come from your website, your paid ads, and even from your social media posts. We'll start with why you're getting price shoppers that don't buy. Let's be honest. As a commercial or home service provider, you're not selling something people are passionate about. You're not selling fishing gear to anglers or fashion to fashion lovers. People aren't browsing your services for fun. When someone calls you, it's because something broke. Their garage door won't close, their toilet won't flush, their HVAC system isn't cooling, or they've got a roof leak. They just want it fixed quickly so they can get on with their lives. Now, if you and your competitors all make the same claims and promises, the customer can't tell who's better. So they skim reviews and choose whoever looks good enough for the lowest price. That's how you get price shoppers that don't buy. They're not really tire kickers. Your marketing just isn't differentiating you clearly enough, and since you're not the cheapest, they go with someone else who appears to offer the same thing at a lower price. We're gonna solve that today. First, let's talk about what makes a referral so valuable. When someone gets referred to you, a couple of things happen instantly. Number one, they trust you right away. They've already been told you do good work, so you become the safest choice. As a result, they give you the benefit of the doubt. Number two, they're already somewhat pre-qualified. The person who referred them wouldn't have sent them your way unless they actually needed your service. So now you have a prospect who needs the job done and already trusts your business. That's why referral leads are so much easier to close. So how do we recreate that same effect with your website and your marketing? I'm going to give you a list of simple things you can add to your website and marketing. You don't have to do them all to get referral-like leads, but the more of them you do, the more you'll increase the quality of your leads. And I'll tell you where to start so you get results with the least amount of efforts, and then you can expand as your resources expand. So, let's start with the most important method, the one you should do first because it influences and strengthens all the other methods in this video. Method 1 is this: speak directly to one specific type of customer, not everybody at once. And here's why this matters so much. When someone feels like your message was written for them, they trust you faster and the quality of your leads jump instantly. And you do this through a simple two-step process. Step 1 is to identify your most profitable groups of customers for each service you offer in your specific area. People are different in every region, so the group of customers who are most profitable for you depend on where you're located. For example, in Florida, it might be upper middle class retirees living in detached suburban homes. In Los Angeles, it might be younger professionals in high value neighborhoods who want fast, no hassle service because they're busy and short on time. In New York, it might be condo and brownstone owners dealing with aging buildings and constant repairs issues. Same service, but totally different types of customers with completely different needs, concerns, and motivations. So, first, you need to identify the groups of customers who are most profitable for your business in your area, the ones that lead to the types of jobs you really want, and understand each group well enough to know what makes them hesitate to call, what makes them choose one company over another, what they're afraid of when hiring someone, and what they really want but aren't saying out loud. Okay, but how do you actually figure all that out? It's simple. I'll show you the tool we use to identify our clients' most profitable groups of customers. And it makes this part really easy. And here's the simplest way to start. Apply this method to one service at a time. Begin with your most profitable service, your bread and butter. Get the marketing dialed in for that one first. Then move on to the next most profitable service, and so on. That way you stop spinning your wheels with marketing that doesn't work. And you give yourself time to grow at a steady, predictable pace and hire more people as the workload increases. The whole purpose here is to create ads, social posts, emails, and website pages that speaks directly to one of your most profitable groups of customers, the ones who bring the jobs you actually want. You might be thinking, wait, does this mean I need a different website for each group of customers? The answer is no, not at all. There is a simple way to do this, and I'll show you exactly how in another tutorial. Here's the hard part. Truly identifying your most profitable groups of customers and knowing enough about each group to speak directly to them is easier said than done. So, how do you actually figure out who those groups are? We solve that problem by building a tool that taps into an enormous amount of data that includes what people say about you and your competitors in forums, chat rooms, and online groups, what they write in their reviews, what they talk about when they hire for your service, research studies, and much more. But analyzing this data manually would take months. So we use a combination of different AIs, not just one, multiple, each doing what it does best. Together they analyze the data, rank what matters most, and tell us which needs, objections, concerns, and motivations we should focus on first, second, and third, and so forth. Then it produces a report we call your 25 most profitable groups of customers for your service in your local area. The data is incredibly valuable, and the results from using it in your marketing are phenomenal. We've seen cost per lead drop by more than 2/3, and the quality of the jobs from those leads improved dramatically. Alright, we'll leave a link somewhere around this video if you want to learn more about that tool. Method 2 is to establish yourself as the authority in your field, because the authority is always the safest person to hire. Authority matters because people don't want to make a mistake. They want to feel like they're hiring the person who knows what they're doing. And you build authority by sharing simple practical advice that shows you understand the kinds of problems your customers face and how to fix them. But here's the part most service providers don't realize. Authority content helps, but it isn't as effective when it's general and your competitors are saying the same things. What makes authority really work is when it speaks directly to the specific groups of customers, the same groups you identified in method 1. That's where the real separation happens. Because once you know what a certain group of customers cares about most, your content becomes deeply relevant to them in a way your competitors can't match. Let me give you an example. Let's say one of your most profitable groups of customers is worried about being upsold or pressured into repairs they don't need. If you know that, then your content doesn't just explain how a repair works, it also shows how you diagnose problems honestly, how you walk people through their options, and how you avoid pushing work that isn't necessary. Now, you're not just the authority, you're the authority who understands their specific concern, and that's what creates the referral-like effect. Because when someone feels like you really get them, they stop comparing you to every other company and start seeing you as the safest option, just like a referral. This is exactly why method 1 matters so much. Once you know what each group of customers wants, what they're worried about, and what matters to them, you can create content that speaks directly to those things. Method 3 is to build review that mentions the things your best customers actually care about. Now, you already know reviews are important, and your competitors know that too. Everyone in your market is trying to get good reviews. So the question is, how do you get reviews that actually give you an advantage? The key is this. Most reviews are very general. They say things like, great service, or they were friendly, it's positive, but it doesn't help a homeowner decide why they should choose you over another company. But once you understand your most profitable groups of customers, what they value, what they're concerned about, what helps them feel safe, you can gently encourage your happy customers to mention those kind of details in their reviews. For example, if you know a certain group of customers cares most about honest recommendations and not being pushed into repairs they don't need, you might ask a customer to share their experience with how you walk them through their options. Or if a group cares about how their home is treated, you might ask the customers to mention how respectfully your tech handled their space. None of this is scripted. You're simply helping people talk about what genuinely mattered to them. The result is that your reviews start reflecting the things that truly resonate with the type of customers you want more of. And that gives you a real advantage because your competitors' reviews will stay generic, while yours speak directly to the concerns of your most profitable customer groups. These kinds of reviews build the same kind of confidence people get from a referral because they see real customers talking about the specific things they care about. Later in this series, I'll show you an easy way to help customers share more meaningful reviews without making it awkward or difficult for them. Method 4 is to show how you work, but not in a generic way. You want to show your process in a way that addresses the specific concerns of your most profitable groups of customers. Most service providers talk about their process. Here's what we do when we arrive. Here's how we diagnose the problem. Or here's what the repair involves. And that's good, but it usually sounds the same from one company to another. What actually makes your process stand out is when you connect it to the things your best customers care most about. Let me give you an example. Let's say one of your most profitable groups of customers really value clear communication because they've had bad experiences with unclear pricing or surprise repairs. If you know that, then when you explain your process, you highlight things like how you walk people through their options, how you explain the pricing before starting, how you keep them updated during the job, and how you only recommend work they actually need. Now, your process isn't just a checklist, it becomes reassurance. It becomes the answer to their fears, and it helps them feel safe choosing you. And maybe one of your best customer groups cares most about professionalism in their home, protecting their floors, being respectful to their space, cleaning up before leaving. If that's the case, then showing those steps in your process speaks directly to what matters to them. This is how you create that referral-like feeling. Because when someone sees you explain your process in a way that lines up with their concerns, they feel like you already understand them, and that immediately builds trust. Again, all of this ties back to method 1. Once you understand what your most profitable groups of customers value, you know exactly which parts of your process to highlight. Later in this series, I'll show you how to identify those concerns clearly so you're not guessing. Now, method 5 is to create simple promises that help people feel safe choosing you. Not big marketing guarantees, just clear commitments backed by the way you actually work. When someone hires a service provider, they're taking on risk. They don't know if they'll be treated fairly. They don't know if the work will be done properly. They don't want surprise charges. They don't want their home damaged or left messy. They don't want to feel pressured or talked into something. Referrals eliminate most of that risk. People trust referrals because someone they know says, "They were honest with me. They explained everything clearly. They took great care of my home. They told me what I didn't need, not just what I did." So in your marketing, you create that same safe feeling with simple, believable promises. Promises backed by observable steps in your process. For example, if one group of your best customers is worried about being upsold, You don't just say we won't upsell you. Anyone can say that. Instead, you highlight parts of your process that prevent unnecessary upsells. You show customers the issue with photos or a quick video. You explain the why behind every recommendation. You give multiple options, including the lowest cost way to stabilize the issue when possible. You walk them through each choice so they can decide comfortably. That's believable. Or if a group cares most about professionalism in their home, you don't simply claim, we respect your home. You show how your team lays down floor protection, use shoe covers, keep tools organized, and clean up completely before leaving. Those steps are visible. Customers can see them happening. And that makes your promises trustworthy instead of marketing talk. This works for communication as well. Telling customers what to expect before you begin, giving updates during the job, and explaining what's happening before anything gets done, these small commitments reduce uncertainty. And reducing uncertainty is exactly what gives leads that referral-like trust. And again, this ties back to method 1. Once you understand what each profitable group of customers fears, values, and expects, you'll know exactly which promises matter most to them. So you're focusing on the things that actually help people choose you. Method 6 is to use simple human content that helps people feel connected to you and your team. Now, you don't need to become a content influencer or share every detail of your personal life. That's not what this is about. But the truth is, people hire people. And when they're choosing a service provider, they want to feel like they're letting the right kind of person into their home. Referral leads already have this built in. Someone says they're good people or you'll like them, and that lowers the barrier immediately. You can recreate a bit of that feeling by occasionally sharing content that shows who you are, who your team is, how you treat customers, and the value your company stands for. For example, a short clip of your team preparing for the day, a friendly introduction to a technician, a moment where someone on your team goes out of their way to help a customer, a behind the scene look at how you train your staff, or a simple message about why you started your business in the first place. You don't need to overthink it. Just small moments that shows you and your team as real trustworthy people. And here's where it becomes even more powerful. When you understand your most profitable groups of customers, their values, their expectations, and what builds trust for them, you can share the kinds of human moments that matters most to those groups. If they care about professionalism, show the pride your team takes in doing things right. If they care about kindness and respect in their home, show a moment where your tech handles a situation with care. If they care about expertise, show how your team trains, learns, and stays sharp. This kind of content doesn't just make you look human. It makes you look like the kind of company they'd feel comfortable hiring. And that's exactly the feeling referral creates. Later in this series, I'll show you how to identify the qualities your best customer groups value most so you can choose the right moments to highlight in your content. Alright, that's the core framework for creating leads that feel a lot more like referrals. As you can see, none of these methods are complicated. They just work better when you build them around the type of customers who are most profitable for your business. If you take these steps one at a time and you focus on understanding what really matters to your best customers, you'll notice a big difference in the quality of the leads you get and the jobs they turn into. In the next tutorials, we'll go deeper into how to apply these methods to your website, your ads, and your content. Take it at your own pace, try one method at a time, and don't hesitate to ask questions inside the community. We're all here to help each other grow.